Charlie Kirk made a living trafficking in violence. Charlie Kirk made a living speaking in ways that created the very environment that led to his death.
He spent his life talking about empathy and how it was necessary. He spent his life talking about the necessity of people dying for the preservation of an amendment, a piece of paper. He spent his life categorizing people and percentagizing people and slanting things to present a certain aspect of things.
Now, this is a question that I'm pretty sure if you're like above the age of like 30, or you're up there, okay? I'm not saying that you're old, but you're seasoned, okay? Just like myself, 38 years old, I'm not young, okay? I'm pretty sure at some point you thought about your legacy, which some people may not care. Like Mike Tyson had like this weird interview where he was talking to a little kid and he said, I don't care about a legacy. Like, it doesn't matter what people think of you when you're dead and gone, because it is what it is. Like, that's the end of your book and it's done. So who cares about a legacy? But on the flip side, it can be impactful. If we just look at anyone like a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X or a Huey P. Newton or James Baldwin, like Frederick Douglass, like individuals like this, their legacy teaches us still. We still learn about these people. We still, have quotes that are relevant in 2025 or whenever you're watching this. Like, legacy can mean something. It can impact an entire group of people. And it was like 50, 60, 70 years ago when you had passed away. So it can mean something depending on what your passion and how you try to affect people's lives. That can be important to some people. But when it comes to politics, okay, which is a messy, weird, especially today, which is why I hate politics. Like, it becomes this breeding ground of grifters. Hey, just say this crazy thing. You'll get some clicks. You'll get some views. You might get an interview. You might get a spot on Fox News. Like, and you'll make money. We see it all the time. It's not a secret. Being a progressive political commentator, I don't have millionaires and billionaires knocking down my door. Like, that's not where the money's at. You see what I'm saying? So when you decide to get into politics and you pass away, you die, you get killed, whatever the case is, that is going to be your legacy. And when you find yourself being that individual that puts party over people, and you're playing politics as if it's some sort of game for your party to win points or something, that's going to be your legacy. And when you do that, it's going to be a disconnect for people. And what we should strive for is fighting for the people and not parties. That's what I want people to remember me. Like, hey, Superior was someone who stood on business, had principles and integrity when talking about politics, and he was for the people. But unfortunately, someone like a Charlie Kirk, which once again, I'm not celebrating his death, but I'm going to be honest. I think it's the fair thing to do. If you're not doing that, you're actually being more disrespectful than anything. Be honest. If you didn't like him then, don't all of a sudden be like, oh my God, he was such an amazing, great person. Like, no, have that same energy when that person passes away. Don't be a coward and all of a sudden he's your best friend. Like, no, be honest. And in my opinion, he was a grifter. He knew what the people wanted to hear. He fed in to people's fear mongering. He was a racist. He was a hateful person. And he used that to benefit himself, to build his political career. And unfortunately, That's how majority of people are going to remember him. Once again, that's not wishing death upon people. That's just my perspective on someone like Charlie Kirk. You can have your perspective on me. Hey, that's fine. You see what I'm saying? So let's just be honest. And when it comes to, I'm pretty sure we done seen a million videos of people on how they felt and this and that, which is fine. Okay, go for it. But when it comes to someone like a Marc Lamont Hill or a D.L. Hughley, like, these people are going to be straight up 100% honest with you. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They're not going to, make it, oh man, I want to get on CNN, so I'm not going to like say something crazy. Like, no, they're just going to be straight up and honest with you. And that is what I respect, is someone being honest. So let's go ahead and let's see, switch over and let's hear what Marc Lamont Hill has to say. First off, we can turn off these blockers here. Once again, that's for copyright purposes, but we don't need it for this
type of violence. For me,
hey, that is loud. All right, 609. All right, let's take a listen.
I don't want to see celebration that Charlie Kirk was murdered. I don't. Charlie Kirk is a person. Charlie Kirk had children. Innocent, beautiful children who will no longer have their parent. He also has a wife, but you chose to marry Charlie Kirk. I can't. Yeah, that's on you. But I actually feel great sympathy for her as well, at the human level of being lost. That said, let's also not be naive or reductive or overly simplistic in our analysis. Charlie Kirk made a living trafficking in violence. Charlie Kirk made a living speaking in ways that created the very environment that led to his death. Charlie Kirk is known for spreading misinformation. Charlie Kirk is known for spreading lies. Charlie Kirk is known for celebrating Black death, Black misery, for demonizing and dehumanizing the most vulnerable among us. He is known for, I remember one time hearing Charlie Kirk talk about how Black people are better off under Jim Crow than they are now. He pathologizes or pathologized Black people, brown people, queer people, trans people. I hear him say that Palestinians aren't real people, that they don't exist. One of the things going around on the internet right now is an article from 2023 where Charlie Kirk said that gun deaths are unfortunate in his defense of the Second Amendment. Unfortunate, very dismissive, kind of poo-pooing the idea that people are dying because of the lack of gun control. The irony of his death in this way is not lost on me or those people who are circulating that article. Now, let me return to my first point. I don't find any pleasure in Charlie Kirk being killed. I don't think we should be celebrating his death. We certainly shouldn't be celebrating his murder. I think it's okay today, yesterday, or tomorrow to say how you feel about Charlie Kirk. If you felt like Charlie Kirk was racist, you can say it. If you felt like he was a piece of garbage, you can say it. If you felt like he was divisive and racist and responsible for so many of the problems that this country is wrestling with, or at least he's not responsible for them, but reflective of the problems that this country is wrestling with, you can say it. I don't think as a Black person or as a brown person or as an Arab or as a Muslim or as a trans person or as a poor person that you have some duty to remain silent when Charlie Kirk dies. or to pretend that he was a hero. I had this conversation a few weeks ago about Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was a piece of garbage. It's okay to say that. Now we can all make our decisions about what decorum looks like and what respect looks like and what civility looks like. We can all have those conversations, and we may not all land in the same spot. But it is, if you're a public figure who made their living saying public things, you have a right, or you should expect to hear public responses to your death. But there's a second issue here, and that is the fact that Charlie Kirk didn't die from a heart attack. He didn't die slipping on a banana peel, right? Like, Charlie Kirk didn't die accidentally, where the only thing we have to talk about is the death. In this case, we also have to talk about the how. We have to talk about the fact that Charlie Kirk was murdered in an act of political violence, and we must absolutely denounce any situation where we normalize people being killed for what they believe. Again, I think Charlie Kirk was a terrible person. He was affable, he was nice, or polite, rather. He was willing to engage people in debate, but he also repeatedly suggested or stated things that suggest that he didn't think that the blacks and the browns were of equal intelligence as the whites. So there's a...
Once again, that is truth right there. Once again, we don't have to pretend. If anything, that's probably more disrespectful than, saying how you truly feel, or even, challenging a lot of the lies and racist things that he said. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And that is okay. And how you try to build some sort of, which is probably out the window already, but some conversations with other people on the other side, which, once again, like, that may not even happen, but he is right. So let's go ahead and hear what D.L. Hughley has to say.
To eulogize means to speak well of. And I wonder what Charlie Kirk would say about Charlie Kirk, because his death stood in stark contrast to the way he lived and the things he believed and the things he espoused. He often talked about black criminality. He often talked about the high crime rates among black people. He spent his life saying that black people basically were inferior and they were superior. Apparently, he's never met a qualified black person that didn't earn it through merit. They were all set aside as a DEI. He spent his life talking about empathy and how it was necessary. He spent his life talking about the necessity of people dying for the preservation of an amendment, a piece of paper. He spent his life categorizing people and percentagizing people and slanting things to present a certain aspect of things. He died forwarding the notion that it's black people who are responsible for gun death. His last words were gang violence. But he wasn't shot. He wasn't shot. We know it was because we know who wasn't. First off, Charlie Kirk was not assassinated. He was shot. The congressmen in Minnesota, they were assassinated because they were shot for their political views. Charlie Kirk was shot. And Charlie Kirk was shot doing the very thing he'd always done, percentagizing and blaming and minimizing and saying these things are not true. These things, his last words were gang violence. But we know who it was because we know who it wasn't. 3 words let you know they weren't black. It was Utah and at large. Now, if Charlie Kirk, we're looking at a situation with Charlie Kirk, would he say he was the victim of crime or white on white violence? Because what Charlie Kirk always talked about was how many black people kill black people. But he never talked about how many white people kill white people.
Hey, once again, that right there speaks volumes. Once again, if you build this house your entire life, that's what people are going to judge you on. And, I had some people in my comments, the video I posted today, depending on when you're watching this, but, getting upset at me. And it's like, this is what he offered. And once again, like, we can disagree. Let me try to find, I can't even think of I don't know. I can't even think of a prominent Republican politician I disagree with, but still don't see as that hateful person. Like I had someone in my Discord, I forget his name, but he disagreed with like 90% of the things I said. I want to say that he was a Republican, but we had such a great conversation. I didn't go away leaving that conversation saying, I hate this person, or this person is evil, or this person is like literally actively trying to hold people like me back. Like, no, we disagreed and like had a good conversation. So it is possible to have a different ideology or opinion than other, from other people and not feel this kind of way with someone. But like I said, the reason why we hate politics over here is because people get into politics and they purposely divide people and they benefit from it. Because trust me, you're not going to get to where a Charlie Kirk was by being a lovable person, by saying like, hey man, like let's try to unite and fix the obvious problems with America. But trust me, it could be a long list. But no, like you don't get that prominent in a Republican Party by being a lovable uniter. It doesn't happen. So once again, like if we're going to be honest with ourselves, when you die, don't be surprised when people are saying some crazy things, because that's what you're leaving them. So, hey, once again, like I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers that just like make this a 20-part series of Charlie Kirk, because trust me, like I see some of these people on their 4th, 5th video, like Charlie Kirk this, Charlie Kirk that, like, nah, I'm done with it once again, unless something crazy happens. I don't know, hopefully not. But I just want to kind of get that information out there for those who, we're having those kind of conversations in my comment section. But I'm once again, I would never celebrate someone dying over their political beliefs. But at the same time, we can't sugarcoat anything. Like, nah, let's just be honest. We can get a lot further as a country if we're being honest instead of pretending. That doesn't help nobody. So there you go.
I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.